I'm going to be making a video ranking and discussing each Rainbow Road and Mario Kart Deluxe on the Switch, which if you didn't know, it has 5 of them. Now as we know, Mario Kart is one of Nintendo's golden IPs. It's so big it even got some runtime on the Mario movie. And if you didn't know, Rainbow Road is the most iconic track on every Mario Kart that's been made. Even people who don't know Mario Kart or played it at all, they know how crazy Rainbow Road is and how iconic it is. What makes a Rainbow Road Rainbow Road? It's the immaculate music, breathtaking aesthetics, steep difficulty, and just overall vibes of driving on the map. And who doesn't love a track with space or rainbow colors? There's a reason why Mario Galaxy is seen as people's favorite 3D Mario game. Look at my poll for proof. And look at how Rosalina is still extremely relevant a decade plus later. She is so relevant that for whatever reason, they made a baby version of her. Or they just needed to fill slots, for the game. They just got lazy. Rainbow Road should stand out from the rest and is always the final track of a game. It's a nice send-off for a Mario Kart game and should always elicit some type of emotions, whether frustration from you being asked at the game or just pure admiration for how great the track is. Mario Kart Deluxe on the Switch ended up with 5 of them, 3 from the base game and 2 later from the DLC booster pack. We got from oldest to newest Super Mario Kart on the SNES, Mario Kart on the Nintendo 64, Mario Kart DS on the 3DS, Mario Kart Wii on the Wii, and lastly, Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. I'll be ranking them from best to worst and put them on a tier list. I'll just be ranking them on how they are on the deluxe version, not whether they improved from a remake. Just taking them for how they currently are. And trust me, you don't want me to talk about the original Rainbow Road on the 64, where it takes 6 minutes to finish. It was ass. With that being said, here's the ranking starting with the worst. The worst one of the Rainbow Roads on the Switch is a Nintendo 64 one. By all means, it's not a bad map in the slightest. A lot of times online, I'd pick it between 3 maps presented in the random choice. I still love the 64 one. It is just worse than the 4 others, which isn't a bad thing because they're all solid. It's like saying Chinese is the worst type of food when comparing it to Italian and Mexican. It's still amazing, but just not as great as the other 2. The Nintendo 64 one and the SNES ones are the 2 shortest tracks in terms of length for the Rainbow Roads, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I do think most people wish it was longer though. Hard to really get into the race when it feels like it's already over. And some people like to troll this map and say how they wish there was a 3rd lap. Haha, funny. I can always appreciate a map though, where every lap is different and you're not going through a loop. But some tracks depend on the gimmick too much, to the point where it doesn't really feel like, every lap's extremely fun, unique, hard, and or just engaging. That's the case here. The track's a little too easy for my liking, with guardrails, and really wide roads, and really wide turns. Nothing makes this track all that challenging. And the only obstacles are the 3 train chomps bouncing on the laps. You get 1 on lap 1, and then 2 on lap 2, so it's a total 3. But none of them they really don't feel too hard to avoid, and to be honest, I never got hit by one of them. And like I said, the guardrails just make this race way too easy. I play everything on 200cc, and the race is already easy, but when you baby people who make drifting turns with aids of, the rail in that case, just screw it up. But hey, a Rainbow Road never fails with the aesthetics, music, and set pieces. I love the train when you're drifting and how it drops coins. The sound effect it makes helps immerse you in the track a little more too. It's such a nice little touch. The train straight up heightens the track by tenfold. Reminds me of the Polar Express and almost turns the track into a little of a Christmas track to me. And no other Rainbow Road gives off that vibe. I do love all the little fireworks that fire off with the faces of the characters. Take down the bumpers on this map, make the chain chomps a little harder to avoid, and lengthen the track a little more, and then this would be as perfect as a track as they were intending to go for. But hey, it's still a lot better than the original. The remake is definitely a lot better. Crazy how the track goes from 6 minutes to 1:30 for a race. And yeah, race this in 200cc, and by the time you're done blinking, the race is already over. I'm gonna put this in B tier. One I can always enjoy playing, but if there are better options available, then I'll just pick something else. Number 4 is the SNES one. A solid map where I always like playing it, like the Nintendo 64 one, but still a tier down from the next 3. It's definitely shorter than the next three, and probably just a few seconds faster than the Nintendo 64 one, but still a shorter map. What I like more about this one than the Nintendo 64 one is just how much harder it is and more engaging of a map it is. Sure, it's a loop 3 times, whereas the other one is 3 different laps, but these are just more engaging overall. I love how there are no rails or guards to stop you from falling, so every turn and move has a chance where you might fall off. The Thwomps are actually really solid obstacles too, that make you actually have to do something, and it was a solid choice to make them star powered. Rainbow Road with Rainbow Thwomps is a rainbow overload. They got 7 of them to be exact. The 2 at the beginning, where one goes down at a time, 1 later in the middle, 2 near the end, where there is 1 per direction you decide, and then 2 right before the end of the race that go down at the same time. So they don't function the same and are positioned completely differently. Makes each part of the lap feel like it's its own section and its own challenge. And I love the little ramps that can help shave off time, and the infamous one that's so satisfying, where if you get a mushroom, you can zoom through the obstacles. I also love the vibe this one gives off. It feels like the Electrodome, just Rainbow Road version of the map. The hills in the background are rainbow themed, and the moon is so bright. A great set piece for the map. This one gives off the clubbing vibe, you know. An overall solid map with nothing too bad about it, but maybe nothing extremely solid about it either. I'd put it in B tier as well. Maybe even, it might crack the lowest of A tier since it's a hard map with no rails. But I'm gonna stick with a B tier. I really appreciate the no rails parts of it. And if you didn't know, I really appreciate the no rails part of it. Number 3 is the Wii U version. Aesthetically, it's in last place, but still a solid track. The others feel more vibrant, and this one feels a little more dull and gives off the space station map vibe in Mario Party. I do like the toads floating in space though. That really helped boost its track vibe and aesthetics. This map is definitely longer than the other 2, and it feels harder than the SNES one, even though there are a few rails. And it's nice how it has 2 routes you can go. When the track starts, I got a little scared because I immediately saw those rails, but when you make it to those first 2 turns, whew, good luck on those, They are really difficult in 200cc also, and good luck trying to use a mushroom on those 2 turns. I dare you. You really gotta hit the brakes on them. I wish on the arrow parts though, with the green and red, that they'd actually slow you down a little more and punish you from actually going on the red ones. They just don't feel like they affected you that much. But the 2 routes you can go are cool, and I feel people are pretty split on them. It's not like Yoshi's Valley, where everyone goes down the same path, even though there's like 6 options. People are pretty 50-50 on which route they pick. And if I really mess up on one route, then I'll just go the other one the next time. The turns on this map are rough, and mushrooms are hard to use. That's what makes a Rainbow Road hard, is when you can't even use a mushroom because you're scared to go too fast and fall off. And there are plenty of opportunities to fall off, trust me. A longer track with different routes and plenty of difficulty. The makings of a solid Rainbow Road. I just feel its aesthetics and no real obstacles stop it from being perfect. Like if they had more color and less dullness to it, maybe have a few Mario Galaxy planets in the background, and more just overall rainbow color to the map, it would do it favors for sure. And it would be cool to have snippets as obstacles, or something just to add a little more to it, but still a solid track. I'm going to give it a very low A tier. Not that much better from the SNES track, but still a tier above. Number 2 is the Wii one. These next 2 are pretty much perfect. Now we're really getting into the great ones. If they made all the Rainbow Roads like these next 2, then I'd never complain, because we'd just be getting banger after banger after banger. Yeah, basically just Foster the People's Catalog. My favorite band. Yeah, the ones who did Pumped Up Kicks. Yes, I know the meaning of the song. It's crazy how the smallest of details can really elevate a map. Nobody was probably expecting to do this, but hey, they did it. When you fall off the map, you quickly burn out like a shooting star. Such a nice little detail that they brought back from the OG one. And don't get me started, this has the best song choice and overall aesthetics out of Rainbow Roads and Mario Kart Deluxe. It just gives off Mario Galaxy a lot. The song sounds very Mario Galaxy-like, and the star bits were amazing additions to the map. I love how they're all over the map, so it's a constant thing that just has, a consistent vibe to it, and just how dynamic the star bits are too. They're always slightly moving and never static. And yes, as you know, I'm not a fan of rails, or bumpers as maybe some would like to call them. But if you're gonna have them, then make them look great. I love how these bumpers have stars on them, and the 3 lines are going from order, like a pinkish purple, then a lime green, and then a sky blue. Maybe I'm colorblind. Let me know if I'm colorblind. And the rainbow is absolutely gorgeous. And all of the little boosts throughout the rings, it was a cool little touch. And lastly, it's just so much fun to shoot out of the star with the sound effect as you parachute back to the road. They really perfected the vibes with this one. The whole track just keeps you engaged, and all of the sections of the map feel a little different to where it doesn't feel repetitive. There are boosts and jumps and half pipes and parts with rails and without rails. And then lastly, we come to the end of the track with 2 different routes to pick, just like the Wii U version. I feel people are 50-50 with them, and there isn't one definitive way people go. And in 200cc, when you get to the part with the figure 8, you can just hit the jumps without mushrooms. This map is already a 10 out of 10, but throw a few Lumas in there, and maybe one little obstacle, and this might be a 12 out of 10. This is an easy S tier rank, and I always pick it when it comes up. It truly encompasses everything a Rainbow Road should have. Good music, great aesthetics, difficulty, and just overall enjoyment from racing on it. Number 1 is the 3DS one. I feel most would always pick the Wii or 3DS one as their faves, and how could you not? This just takes all the good parts of all the other Rainbow Roads and just throws them into one track. It's just truly insane. It takes what the Nintendo 64 map did and made every lap its own unique one, so it isn't a loop, but just even better than that. It makes almost as great as music and aesthetics as the Wii version. It has the difficulty like just SNES and the Wii U version, and it just really captivates what Rainbow Road is supposed to be. Let's start off with the thing that might pop out to most people the second they play it, the road. This is by far the best road choice for a Rainbow Road. The transparent road that makes you feel like you're just racing on a stream of clear water with a nice gradient and coloring of the rainbow. I love seeing the galaxies in the distance too. Amazing set pieces, and I like how they're different colors. One is red and the other's green. And then you get to the bright ass sun too. So many set pieces to almost distract you from the race. Hell, they even threw in the humongous toads. What are they feeding the toads on this map? Lumas? Other toads? Goombas? Now let's go lap to lap and discuss the greatness of each one. We start off pretty much just enjoying the transparent road with no rails. Yee! And start with jumping on some boosts to get your adrenaline rushing, to then drifting around this mini planet. You can either drift the whole time and never let go, or do jumps on them and get mini boosts. The choice is yours. Then a straight line with a quick mushroom. Mushroom Gorge doesn't work right, so they made up and just threw a space mushroom to compensate for it. Actually, let's go ahead and call it Space Shroom. On lap 2, we then drift around Saturn, meeting more transparent road, and start riding around a comet. The comet section would honestly make for an amazing battle map for Mario Kart in my opinion. Wouldn't even need to change a thing. Keep the bouncing chain chomps too. They got the craters to do some jumps and a few chain chomps as obstacles. Then where we get to lap 3 and go through what looks to be a fruit roll-up, and try to hit as many boosts as we can. You can either fly through the next part or just jump off some ramps and boost to make it the final section. When you drift to a straight line and finish the amazing immersive race of the 3DS Rainbow Road. Truly an experience one should all get. I just don't know how you can't love it. Each lap is so different from the next, and there are so many little choices you can make that can slightly give you an edge. I don't think there's any crazy turns or something that really screw you up in this map, but it still presents you with opportunities to fall off and some obstacles slow you down. This is an easy S tier and a top 3 map in the game. And did I say how much I love the road in this track yet? With that being said, that's my ranking and tier list of the Rainbow Roads on the Deluxe version on the Switch. Let me know what you thought and how you would rank and tier them.